are certain things you should never do when visiting a country. So in today's video, we are going to be looking over the worst things you can do which may seem like an innocent act but could land you in big trouble in different countries. Not all of these actions will land you in big trouble, but let's get straight into this. Here we go. So in Indonesia, it's frowned upon to eat with your left hand, and then in Greece, having an open palm is also frowned upon. Whereas in Cambodia, touching somebody's feet is weird. Why is that weird? I mean, touching somebody's feet unconsensually anyway is very strange, but I don't know with this one. Then in Turkey, doing the OK sign is frowned upon. Could someone let me know why? Also, if Erling Haaland ever scored in Turkey, he could not do his signature celebration, or apparently he'll be frowned upon. Then in Vietnam, accepting a gift with only one hand is frowned upon, which I get, to be fair. It seems a bit rude. Then Malaysia, touching somebody's head, and then in the Philippines, a strong handshake. That's so weird to me, because in the UK, if you don't give somebody a strong, firm handshake, it's sort of frowned upon. You're like, ugh, why isn't this man giving me a good handshake? Like, you're a wimp, you're this, you're that. But then in the Philippines, it's the opposite. If I give you a strong, firm handshake, you're like, what are you doing that for? That's weird, that's strange to me. In Chile, eating with your hand is frowned upon. I feel like that's the same everywhere. And then in Singapore, you should never feed birds. You should never do these things in these countries, and you can't feed birds in Singapore. What? Why is that a thing? If you know any of the answers to these in the comments, please let me know in the comments down below, because I do not get half of these. In Kenya, you should never disrespect religion, which I agree it should be the same everywhere. Then in Jordan, you should never wear a shape-hugging short. As in, like, what? Like, hugs your figure? You're not allowed to wear, like, compression shorts or a compression shirt? Why? Someone explain that to me. In Finland, you're not allowed to do any unnecessary honking. Oh my god, imagine a Finnish person being dropped in the middle of New Delhi. They would lose their head. India and honking their horns is actually insane. The amount of videos I've watched on India, people honking their horn in like the middle of New Delhi is constant. It doesn't stop. It's actually insane. Every video I've seen, it's honk, 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 honk. It's crazy to me. So if you're Finnish and you go to India, yeah, that's a long day. In New Zealand, you should never make fun of the Lord of the Rings. Valid. And then in Germany, yeah, you obviously should never do that greeting. Not only in Germany, you should never do that greeting anywhere. Let's just be honest. In Venezuela, being on time for dinner, you should never be. What the hell? So you're always meant to be late? You're always meant to be late to dinner in Venezuela? Surely not. Surely that's just not true. That doesn't make any sense to me in the slightest. What, they like you for being late? I'd hate you for being late. India, wearing shoes inside the home, you should never do, which I back. I really hate that. Then Angola, you should never lock your doors. Why is that a thing? Is it so like if someone needs help, they can run inside your house, but then you're just gonna get robbed all the time? Surely that isn't real. In Cyprus, giving white lilies as a gift, you should never do, which doesn't make sense. Then in the UAE, if you show the middle finger, then you're gonna get in a bit of trouble. And in the UAE, their laws are very strict. I don't think that's a law, you just never should do it. In Bangladesh, you should never point your finger at someone like this. I don't think you should do that anyway, it's just a bit rude. Then in Iraq, you should never show the soles of your feet. Why should you never show the soles of your feet? Is that some sort of religion thing? I don't know. I'm gonna have to look it up now. Hang on. Let's ask ChatGPT. Why should you never show the soles of your feet? It's a cultural thing. It's quite disrespectful and offensive because the soles of your feet are considered to be the lowest and dirtiest form of your body. Makes sense. The soles of your feet are usually quite disgusting. In Mexico, you should never be serious. So if you've just been arrested, you shouldn't be serious. You're not allowed to be serious. Otherwise, you're gonna get in trouble even more. And then in Nepal, stepping over feet? Wait, what? You're not allowed to step backwards like this. Why? Why is that a thing? Why can't you do that in Nepal? That's really weird to me. What if you need to like run backwards to run away from something? I don't know. In China, you should never call elders by their first name. I still think that now. I think that should be everywhere. We got to show respect to the elders. It should be a last name thing, because then when I grow old, everyone will be calling me by my last name, which I'll like more than my first name. It should just be a thing. Everyone should call elders by their last name, or like Sir, or like Mr, or Mrs. That would be so much better than Dan. Sir, Dan. Sir. Sir's so much cooler. In Italy, you should never cut spaghetti with a fork. Oh my days, you would be beheaded if you did that in Italy. Editing down here. Let's try and get this video to 1,000 likes. I'd really appreciate it. So go like the video right now, please. Do it. Back to the video. They would lose their head. In Lithuania, you should never whistle. Then in Zambia, you should never send nudes. What? What? Okay, all right. In Hungary, you're never allowed to say, I'm hungry. What? And then in Sweden, sitting close to each other is frowned upon. Why has this lady got a nipper out? Why is her nips out? What's going on? What is going on with this? What's happening? In France, you're not allowed to make eye contact. You should, well, you are, but you shouldn't. And then in Japan, leaving tips in a restaurant. I've actually heard this, to be fair. Japanese people get offended when you leave a tip in a restaurant. Like, it's like a frowned upon thing. I don't know why, but they don't accept tips in certain places of Japan, which I think is really cool. It's the complete opposite of America, where they'll literally ask for a tip at a self-checkout. Yes, I was in Vegas. They asked for a 10% tip at a self-checkout. I did the checking out, not you guys. Next up, we have Cyprus again, where yawning you should not do. And then in Suriname, however you pronounce it, you're not allowed to talk loudly, which is good. You should never refuse a drink in Georgia and never refuse a meal in Ukraine. In Kyrgyzstan, you should never drop bread. I wonder why that is. Can someone explain that to me? Then in Indonesia, you should not point your fingers. In Iran, you're never allowed to show affection. I don't know how true that is. I really think that might be false. Oh wow, it's not false. In Iran, public displays of affection are considered inappropriate and are regulated by strict social and legal norms. Wow, okay. I should not have doubted you. In India, you should never not like cricket. You must pretty much like cricket if you're Indian. This is what this video is saying. In Afghanistan, women walking without a chaperone. You shouldn't do that. Yeah, okay. What, because Afghanistan's dangerous? You should always walk with someone with you. Okay, I get that. In Brazil, you should never whistle. I don't think that's going to be enforced. And then in Iraq, you should never burp. Again, I don't think that's going to be enforced. Uganda, women sitting with their legs crossed should never happen. What is that meant to mean? That just sounds strange. What, they're meant to manspread? Am I reading that wrong? Never do these things in other countries. Women sitting with crossed legs. So they're always meant to sit with their legs out. What do you mean? What's going on? In Ghana, you should never smoke. And then in South Korea, you should never write your name in red ink. Is that something to do with, like, if you write it in red ink, you might die? Let's look. Yes, if you write your name in red ink in South Korea, it is associated with really bad luck and death. Damn! Do not write your name in red ink in South Korea. In Cuba, taking photos of the police, you should never do it. Then in Monaco, you should never walk barefoot. Is that a real thing? Really? It actually is a real thing. It's prohibited and considered incredibly inappropriate if you walk barefoot in Monaco. What is going on? I never knew half of these things. In Turkey, you're not allowed to blow your nose. I mean, you can, but you shouldn't. That's stupid. That just isn't true. That one 100% is definitely not true. Wearing shorts in, I don't know how to say this. My pronunciation, you know what? I know a lot of countries. I don't know how to pronounce countries' names. Malawi, you shouldn't wear shorts. Then in the UK, you should never invite random people into your house. You shouldn't do that anywhere, but probably true in the UK because you might get shanked. Then in the Ivory Coast, you should never not shake someone's hand. So you should always shake their hands. Okay, got ya. In Ethiopia, you should never give expensive gifts. And then in Thailand, you should never wear shoes inside of a temple. I knew that one because of how many #Brady videos I've watched. In Saudi Arabia, you should never ask about female family members. And then in Syria, you're not allowed to tell dirty jokes. Again, you can, but you shouldn't. Also guys, can we please make sure you guys like this video? Let's try and get to 1,000 likes on this video and make sure you subscribe. Go do it now. You got 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1, go do it, please. It goes a long way. You should never open a door for a woman in Denmark, so just chivalry's out the window in Denmark. Then in Yemen, you should never uncover your shoulders. In Costa Rica, you should never make a fist like this. Why? Would you get told off? Would you get put in prison? I'm not sure. You should never smile all the time in Russia. What are you meant to do then? Just be depressed? Then in Bhutan, you should never receive a gift immediately. So they give it to you and you're meant to say no. Then in Pakistan, you should never sit like this man here. And in Argentina, you should again never arrive on time for dinner. What? But that's about it. These are things you should never do in certain countries. Are these true? Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure you subscribe and like the video. 1,000 likes is a goal. Oh, and one more thing. Bye.